guys and dolls, welcome back to my channel. And for those of you who are new, how you doing? Okay, I'm going to get right into this. Yes, I don't want to waste any time. You know the drill though. You know the drill though. If you love my content, if you like what you see, please hit the like button, comment, feel free to subscribe because you know I would love to have you. Everyone's welcome on my channel. But yeah, without further delay, I'm going to get right into the title of this story, and this is going to be about hunters. And just a quick before I continue, my allergies are really killing me, so if I look a little low energy, like I'm not feeling well, I'm not, but I really wanted to do this video, so I am speaking in a more softer tone. And no, this is not ASMR or anything like that, and I have old school setting, I have natural lighting, so just in case you guys are wondering if my tone is different or I look like, you know, I'm a little off, actually I am. I love my allergies. Okay, so this is about hunters, and when I say hunters, no, I don't mean going into a forest and killing deer or anything like that, not that type of hunter. This information kind of jives and it connects to all my story times. Not all my story times, but it does connect to my paranormal series 1 through 5 and The Power of No Will Set You Free. Hopefully you guys will have already seen those. Those of you who follow me and watch all my stories will know what I'm talking about, and this will not ring as something crazy. You won't think I'm a lunatic, but if it's your first time coming to my channel and you're listening to what I have to say, especially when it comes to the stories that I put on my channel, you're gonna think that I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So that's, you know, when I say please refer to my previous story times, especially the paranormal series 1 through 5 and The Power of No Will Set You Free. That'll set you straight, and you should be right on track with this. So the hunters that I am referring to are hunters of cryptids, of the beings that people are seeing more and more all over the world. And I sound like a broken record. I'm always saying, what do you need to understand? Basically, we as human beings made a deal way back when. And this goes back to the Adam and Eve story. I always refer back to this. Adam and Eve story is a crock of shit. It is true, but it didn't happen in that way. They promote it as a legend and as fantasy, and it's not. We gave up basically everything. We decided that where evil was separate from us before, we decided to intermingle. When we made that deal, good and evil mixed in, and that's why these beings, interdimensional, and the beings that you see in the forest, the dogmen, the supposed vampires, people, those beings, we gave them permission to intermingle with us, take ownership of areas on the earth, property, people. That's basically what we did, and that's why people are having all of these sightings. So in come the hunters, and this particular hunter, his name is Sam White Owel. He is half American Indian, and if you want to really hear of all his stories, because I'm not going to go into his stories, I'm going to go into the cryptids. And of course I am introducing hunters because these hunters, like Sam White Owl, are the ones who go out there to get rid of them, or the worst ones. Not really all of them, but some of the worst out there. If you want to hear his stories, I suggest you go to Swamp Dweller, and these will be letters from a cryptid hunter. So this is where I got my information from, but if you want to hear the letters from a hunter's point of view and a hunter's words, then you definitely want to go to Swamp Dweller's channel and check those videos out. You will not be sorry. Okay, without further delay, let's start off with the first cryptid. And actually, of course, you know, I always have notes, so let me go through my notes. This is going to be a little repetitive, but bear with me. The name of the American Indian hunter, of course, is Sam White Owel. He's half Cherokee, and this is the person that I'm kind of giving you the information that he's given to Swamp Dweller through all of his stories. His mom, I believe, is the American Indian, and his dad is American Indian. Now, he's been introduced to cryptid, to all of the hunting, everything that was going on around him as he grew up, and he saw his first Sasquatch at 9 years old. He was taught to respect nature and its inhabitants, whatever they are. So the operation he is a part of is private and global. The special weaponry he uses is special and needs to be done by top weapons specialists. He is given jobs by a finder or a senior hunter. Basically, he goes through this person who sends him across the globe to different places. I guess people write in, they know who to ask for, and if you live in rural areas, if you are American Indian yourself and you live on reservations and you're going through horrible times because you see these beings everywhere, and the people, unfortunately, who are going through most of this are people who live on large plots of property or close to nature, or have houses very close to nature, have woods in their backyards. I think those are mostly the people who are encountering these cryptids. Now, don't get me wrong, because if you were to go to Swamp Dweller and listen to all his stories, oh my gosh, there are so many people within city limits who have seen and gone through horrible situations with cryptids, even entering parties in not even suburbs, in city areas. So it's not only people who live in isolated areas, but I think predominantly is the people who live in isolated areas that are seeing these cryptids slash monsters. Okay, so most of the cryptids that are known in the United States would be the crawlers. They're also called pale men, the Sasquatch, of course, the dogman, the werewolf, the werebears, which I had no clue were a thing. Werebears are a thing. The fair folk, and Batmen. No, not Batman. Batman. So let's see. And those are the most that are in the US. A lot of the others that aren't in the US, we're gonna go to the European cryptid. New Zealand has the most dangerous, and they're called the Mai-Aro. They're similar to Sasquatch and live in upland alpine regions and are quite rare. The smaller monsters are Patu Pyrehe and the Ponaturi, more like fair folk or goblins, and they're not too dangerous. The Tonua, aquatic reptile, most were killed off, but some are still around. Hunters keep tabs on these. Now going to South Africa, these are from, and this is a lot from Zulu tribes, the Impodulu, or lightning bird, or thunderbird, the Tikuwashe, the Ikangabe, these are like eel-like snakes, and the cat people that are conjured by magic workers. And I've got to stop. I have to stop because I've listened to stories about cat people. These beings are human-like, and they look like cats, and they can be conjured. Remember when I told you that these beings can be interdimensional, and that's all hell and heaven are different dimensions. So they are conjured from a lower dimension, probably the lower fourth dimension, and they are set out on people who have either wronged someone, are an enemy, or just people that they want to get rid of because they're in the way. And there are many stories on the internet about cat people, especially in Africa. I've never heard of them, but a lot of people have seen them. They are vicious, and they will kill anything in their path. I couldn't even. The movie, if you are wondering, if you're a person who's very visual, there's a movie on Hulu, and it's called I Kill Giants. If you want to get a feel of what hunters do, watch that movie. I watched it. I was kind of shocked. And I'm sorry, I don't think I'm pronouncing these names right. Again, they're cryptids, so I don't even know where to go to even help me pronounce some of these names. But okay, so I'm gonna go back to, these are also mostly European, but can be found in America, vampires. And I know everybody's like, oh Lord, vampires, really? They are nothing like Edward Cullen. Let's just get that straight. Nothing like Edward Cullen. From what this hunter says, from what Sam says, they are real. They do not shapeshift or have any powers, but they are very strong and fast and are identical to humans. There are also several European hunters who are vampires. They can get along with humans just fine. So I guess he didn't know too much more about them, but they do exist. They're out there. And I'm pretty sure whereas they don't have the powers, you know, they don't die in the sunlight, and I believe if they were ever human, as a human being, you know, some of us are telekinetic, some of us are telepathic, some of us have the power of persuasion. I think they may have those abilities as well. So that wouldn't be too far to think that one of these vampires can kind of persuade you and get you to do anything that they wanted you to do. I'm pretty sure that power is a part of what they can do. But let's move on. The Wolfman Dogman. They are found in North America, Europe, and parts of Asia. They're bipedal humanoids, 6 feet to 10 feet, 250 to 1,000 pounds, longer arms than humans with wolf heads. Longer canines with claws, no opposable thumbs. They have canine paws. They come in black, gray, or brown, and are solitary but do form packs of 5 to 13 sometimes. Aggressive and extremely dangerous predators. They run faster on all fours and stronger than a Sasquatch. That shit is scary. That a dogman is stronger than a Sasquatch. And by the way, they do have wars. They do have fights amongst themselves in the woods that they happen to inhabit. I would not want to be there and see that fight. So they're stronger, they're faster on all fours, and they're stronger than a Sasquatch. They speak with each other. They are smart predators. Werewolves activate and deactivate. So werewolves can actually, they were once human. So it is a thing. They are human beings who turn into the wolf or werebear. So that is a thing, but the dogmen are always this way, unlike a werewolf. Dogmen are similar to wolves, howls. They can hunt and they can hurt your ears if they're too close. And that's basically with the Sasquatch too. So if you're close to one of them and you're too close, they either want to ward you off, they don't want to interact with you, or they really don't just feel like smacking your head off of your shoulders. They will produce this horrible growl, this horrible sound, and it will hurt your ears enough to debilitate you. Just like a Sasquatch growl kind of gets into your chest. You feel it, from what they say, you feel it in your chest, and it kind of stops you in your tracks. Whew. And again, like I said, the dogmen and the Sasquatch do fight over territory, and it can get extremely violent. Some people have come across cadavers of people who got in the way, or of pieces. And of course, even if you're lucky, I'm not going to say lucky, even if you do come across, you're unlucky enough to come across a fight between a dogman and a Sasquatch, and you see the remnants of that fight, they're not going to be there by the time you get someone to come back to the area that you supposedly saw them fight in. It's going to be gone. Don't ask me. You know how it is. I do believe that the Sasquatch don't want you to know that they exist. They don't want anybody to know they exist, even though they've been seen all over the world. Same with the dogmen, except that, you know, with the dogmen and the werewolves and the werebears, all of those are very new to me. The most familiar would be the Sasquatch, and there are so many other cryptids in spirit form, in physical form, and interdimensionally that are coming forward more and more and more, are being seen more and more and more, and as a result of what's going on within the powers that be, our lovely powers that be that govern our countries. You know what's going on right now with this ridiculous pandemic, all the lies that are being spread. As things become worse and worse and worse, these creatures will become more and more active. But let me continue. Okay, so are some cryptids actually vulnerable to silver? Yes, I was shocked, but yes, they are. Sam was sent to Europe to deal with them and was advised to have silver bullets. When he used them, the wounds on the wolf appeared to steam rather than bleed. Faye cannot stand the touch of iron, which I already knew that. A bullet between the eyes usually trumps any allergic reaction and does the job. So suppose if you have a strong enough gun and you're ever face to face with any one of these cryptids, good old bullet right between the eyes is the way to go. Okay, so he believes behind every legend, folklore, or myth there is a piece of truth, and what he has seen on his hunts points to that he has seen too many unexplainable things that point to magic or witchcraft. Magic with the CK, not with the C. And he always seeks help from shamans, healers, and experts in the fields of faith. Wendy Joes are one of the worst, from what he says. And he always carries, of course, he carries his faith with him. He carries blessed weapons, and he normally gets a special white ash. These are some of the weapons that he uses against them. So this is the end. I'm gonna end this because I'm really not feeling too well. I wish I could have, I wanted to say so much more, but you know, when you have a massive headache and you're not feeling too good, I couldn't elaborate further. But I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. There are hunters out there protecting, dare I say, humanity, and no, not like that idiot show that's been on for so long with Sam and Dean. I'm not a fan of the show. I did watch portions of it, but not a fan of that show. I can't remember what the show is called, but if you are an avid sci-fi watcher, you know who Sam and Dean are. Again, if you want to have an idea of what his days are like, watch the show because it's close, but again, they are very ridiculous. There are other creatures like deer people, which I didn't know about, but I'll do another video kind of focused on deer people and werebears. I'll do that later. There's just too much information that I found and I couldn't, like I said, I wanted to elaborate so much more, but yeah, my headache is just not letting me concentrate. So again, the gist of this story was to inform you, let you know that yes, these beings do exist and there are people out there fighting them. And for those of you who live in rural areas, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and hopefully some of the things that I've told you, I know I learned. I know that I eventually want to get a house and I want property and I want all of that. I mean, I'm glad I know this because you never, ever, ever know what is going to happen and what you're going to come across, especially if you're a nature lover, and I do love nature. And I intend to kind of enjoy it, especially as time progresses and my life moves forward and up and I start, you know, having more opportunities to, you know, get my own house and just get more room and get out of this tiny apartment. Anyway, okay, I'm rambling. Guys, make good outdoors decisions when you're out there with your family. Again, keep your ears and eyes open. Until my next video, I'll see you soon.